Representative Hill, Representative Rotundo, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Appropriations and Financial Affairs, Sawin Millett, Commissioner of Administrative and Financial Services. Thank you for allowing me to present some very brief testimony on one isolated piece of LR 2721. I would like to speak today in opposition to Part D3, and I'll explain very briefly my reasons for it. Dr. Allen will follow me and talk to Parts A, B, and C, which deal with much more complicated issues than D3 itself. But as you will see in my testimony, I'm simply saying that the possibility of transferring any amount, and I know the allowed draft doesn't specify how much, but if you were to find the A, B, and C pieces difficult, if not impossible, and you were to use D1 of the $4 million reserve, you could be going to the Budget Stabilization Fund for as much as $36 million. We currently are at $59.7 million. And many of you know how you committed to the cascade a year ago that put 80% of the reserves at the end of the closing in July back into the fund. That made a tremendous difference to the ratings that we experienced during May when we did a normal obligation Maine Government Facilities Authority rating for the Augusta Courthouse and some improvements in the Chias. We managed to maintain our ratings under that issue in late May, but with a negative outlook on one and barely stable on the other. In the fall, we went back out for the Maine Municipal Bond Bank borrowing to pay the hospital debt down. And with the new information that we were then able to share, where we had contributed $40 million out of last summer's cascade in July, back into the fund, the ratings came back up to stable and off net negative. And the comments in the material that I have, if when you get into your work session on Friday you want copies, I'll make them available to you. The comments in the two rating statements in the fall are very, very revealing. As both Moody's and S&P noted in May, our minimal reserves and an overall weak balance sheet are highlighted as weaknesses in our ratings. Moody's further went on to state that actions that could cause the rating to go down, in a very specific statement, include a lack of meaningful improvement in the state's reserves, an action that is proposed in Part D3. Now, just full disclosure, this was said in May, but in the fall, when we did the Maine Municipal Bond Bank piece, we regained our stable outlook off negative. And it was said in very clear terms that this was modest improvement. Paying down the hospitals helped to get our accounts payable down. When you see the comprehensive annual financial report very soon, you will see some improvements in the balance sheet. We are poised for a much better review, I think, in May when we go back to the bond rating agencies and to Wall Street for the bond sale that Treasurer Neary Douglas has mentioned to you earlier. We're in pretty good shape in that we have an improving picture. But if we go in and grab a large amount of money out of the Budget Stabilization Fund, I fear that we would be signaling that we are not paying attention to what the rating agencies have told us. And I say this only for your information and caution that they are watching what we do. And the statements are very clear that any attempt to remove a significant portion of that $59.7 million will have negative consequences in future ratings. And I stress that I've been here with you on previous occasions when, particularly in 09 and 10, we brought that Budget Stabilization Fund down to practically zero. We did it under great duress and against our better judgment, and we're now starting to improve. But $59.7 million represents less than 5 days worth of bills payment. We pay out $12 million a day on 250 business days on a $3 billion general fund budget. We just cannot rely and rest on our laurels that we've got it up to 59.7. It's just not an adequate reserve, but it shows improvement, and I hope we don't send a contrary message by your actions on LR 2721. I understand where you're coming from. I know what you're trying to do. I'm not speaking to your goals. I'm just speaking to my concern about that Budget Stabilization Fund. I want to do everything I can to protect it. I want to be here in May when we get our new rating, and I don't want to see that rating go down. So that's my testimony. Dr. Allen will speak much more articulately and eloquently to the tax pieces, but I'm not surprising you with my message. selfish in this sense, but I want to see that bond rating maintained, not improved. So that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Millett, thank you very much for being here.
Senator, I'd be happy to share what I'm quoting from on Friday if you wish, or sooner if you
We
like.
would welcome you being part of the work session on Friday. I'm sure the committee has many questions, and we're just trying to be respectful of so many people traveling here for the public hearing today.
Yep, thank you.
So we'll take you up on that. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. The work session's tomorrow. The week's going so fast with that Monday holiday. So the work session on this is tomorrow afternoon. I might pour into Friday, but I see the bulk of it occurring tomorrow, which is Thursday. So next